Good morning. I have a super fun tool to share with you today about feeling like you're enough, more than enough. So I'm super excited. I'm Michelle, and this is episode number 17, More Than Enough. Welcome to the I Cut the Mustard show, where a plant-based diet and small, simple moves make healthy change happen. And where we believe that you already have what it takes to slice through any barrier that stands in your way. Shing! You're sharp enough. You cut the mustard. Good morning. I am up super early. I've been hesitant to record a podcast because I do most of my work at like 4 a.m. now, and I'm afraid I'm going to wake up my kids and that my voice is going to be super scratchy. But you know what? Today I am so inspired to talk to you, and my voice, you can hear it, so it's good enough, right? Today I wanted to share a cool thing, this cool tool that I did the last few weeks. And as you probably know, I often struggle with being enough, like not feeling like it's enough. And so I'm chasing after this satisfaction. And the last few weeks, I've been feeling a little dissatisfied. And because of this fabulous work on life coaching, I've come to realize that it just comes from my mind, and I can kind of watch it instead of freak out about it, which is really nice. But this week, I got a breakthrough. So several weeks ago, we talked about not enough and some of the ways that that manifests in our life. But today I want to talk about more than enough. So I was doing this exercise in my health coach school. They have this motto that how you do one thing is how you do everything. And when I first heard that motto or that paradigm, I thought, that's not 100% true. Like, you could be doing things one way in one area of your life, and you could be doing things other way in another area of your life. But I realized more and more that it is pretty true that how we do one thing is often how we do everything. So let me give you that example with this idea of not enough. It's just one of those, especially those deep beliefs that you have, that you struggle with, that maybe they've come from your childhood, for some, maybe even just from one experience in your childhood that just really penetrate you and seem to stick. So I took my journal and I said, is this really true? Let me see how this manifests in all areas of my life. So I sat down and I wrote out some different areas of my life. I'm going to share some with you. And I just ran models on them. So if you don't know what a model is, go back to some of the first episodes in this podcast where I describe it in detail. I believe in episode numbers 1 and 2, I go through what it is, probably episode number 2. So it's just a way of looking at the world that you can break it down, what's going on with you and your brain and how you're creating your results with your thoughts. So the first thing is to look at the circumstance. What's going on in your life right now? Then what thought are you having about it? How do you feel about that situation based on that thought? So what feeling is creating that thought for you? And then what action are you taking from that place, and what result are you getting? So I'm going to go through a lot of them so you'll get a really good idea about what this looks like. So for food, I was thinking, okay, so for food and eating in my life, how does not enough show up? So I sit down to eat dinner. That's the circumstance. I'm just eating dinner. My thought while I'm eating dinner is that it's not enough, right? So I feel disappointed or dissatisfied. And then my action is to go get more food, like go get a dessert because I'm feeling dissatisfied, right? We've all done this, like, oh, I just want more. It's not good enough. And then my result then would be to overeat and gain weight. Or a lot of times that result loops back into your original thought that it's not enough. So if I'm eating lots more food, then no matter what I eat, it's not enough, or I'm running out of food, so there's not enough, right? Because I've eaten so much. So that's how it manifests in food for me. And your thoughts may be different, or how you feel may show up in a different way. So I'm just giving you my examples from my life. Okay. And then for my business, my circumstance is that I started a business and I'm having these thoughts all the time that I don't have enough time to be successful, or I don't have enough energy to do it, or enough money to be where I want to be. So I don't have enough time, energy, or money. Those are my thoughts. And then I start to feel disappointed or dissatisfied. And my action is to do more, to add more to my plate, to spend more time, to spend more energy on it, right? And to spend more money on my business. So then I'm adding so much to my plate. So my result is that I really don't have enough time for everything because I'm trying to do too much. So super interesting, right? And then for home, I'm a mom of 3 kids. That's my situation. And my thought is that I'm not a great mom, or I'm not good enough. So then when I have that thought, I'm feeling ashamed or disappointed in my efforts. So I either run away or I run away and I do other projects. I just do other things and become busy. So that way, whenever I do that, my result is that I don't have enough time for my family, right? Because I'm doing all these other things. So as I'm saying this, I'm just thinking, this is just, obviously we have thousands of thoughts going on all the time. So sometimes it kind of waffles back and forth, right? And this is what happens in your life as well. Sometimes I feel like I'm doing so great. I'm such a great mom. And so I, spend time with my kids and I'm satisfied. And a lot of times I am, but this is just whenever I'm thinking I'm not a great mom, this is how it shows up, right? So that's true for everything. So like at church, I have this calling. I work with the young women at church, and a lot of times I feel like, why am I here? Why me? That I'm not good enough at this. And so I feel, in that case, I feel underappreciated, and I feel underappreciated. It's probably my biggest feeling there. So then I'm asking, my action is to ask why, to avoid it, to do things halfway. And then in which case my result is that it's not good enough because I'm only doing things halfway. So really interesting, right? All this stuff is so cool to think about. And then lately I looked in the mirror. I have been a little bit demotivated to exercise with this general feeling of dissatisfaction. And I look in the mirror and I thought, I'm feeling it's looking a little more chubby around my waist. So I don't have a scale, but I was guessing that I gained 2 pounds. So let's pretend I have a scale and my circumstance is that I gained 2 pounds or 3 pounds or something. Okay, so my thought about that is that's not good enough. I started having thoughts that, oh no, my body's getting flabby. It's just feeling not good enough, right? So my feeling is disappointed in myself. I'm disappointed for not working out, or I'm disappointed for spending time doing other things, or for eating too much, or whatever it is that got me there. And then my action is to not exercise. It makes so much sense, right? But I'm just not feeling motivated to exercise because when you don't feel good about yourself, you just don't want to go out there and exercise. It's just the reality of the situation. So then my result would be to just get more flabby, right? And less toned. So it's just a perpetual cycle. So super funny. I just loved going through all these because they're just so interesting, so fascinating to see how not good enough manifests in my life. So then I thought, that, what do I do about this? And I get coached I'm in Jody Moore's coaching program right now. And she's always saying that you get to choose to believe whatever you want. And I really love this. I give you permission to believe whatever you want, because you can believe that you're not enough. You can believe that you're enough. You can believe that you're more than enough. And all of those things are true, honestly, to a certain extent. So just pick one and believe the one that helps you the most, right? You're in charge of you and you get to believe whatever you want. So I love that thought. So I decided, what am I going to believe in this situation? And at the time, I like to start with a feeling. So I thought, how do I want to feel? I want to feel proud of myself and hopeful and confident, right? And I was trying to generate what thought could I have that might lead me to those feelings. And at first I thought maybe it's something like I am enough, or God can make me enough, because in the past that's helped me. At one point I was at, maybe I shared this story before, but I was at Spanga. I was working for Spanga. It's a fitness organization, and I went to get training from them, and it was a 3-day training. And whenever they provided a lot of the food, but I am gluten-free vegan. So here you go. Sometimes there aren't a lot of options. So in that case, whenever I go on vacations, a lot of times I'm just eating salad, but we've been working out all day long. So yeah, I'm working out for hours and hours every day, and then I'm eating salad for lunch every day. So obviously you can get afraid and be like, that salad is not going to be enough for me to get through the day. But one day I got the salad that they had gotten me for that day, and I looked at it and I decided that it was going to be enough. Because we just heard about chewing, and I have done that chewing experiment, and I knew that if I chewed really well, then I would be full by the end of the salad, because I had had that experience in the past. So I just decided this salad is going to be enough, and I'm just going to chew it really well, and then I'm going to feel satisfied. So that's what I decided. That's what I did. I felt satisfied. I might have even had a little salad left. I'm not sure, but I definitely felt full, and I felt great for the rest of the day, which was really cool to me. So whenever I was doing this exercise, I thought, okay, maybe that's my new go-to thought. I'm just going to decide that it's enough. And as I was doing this journaling, my husband came in, and I was telling him about it, and I showed him what I had just showed you, how interesting it was, and how the not enough feeling was manifest in my life. And we had a good laugh. And then he said, well, you're more than enough. And I was like, oh, like my brain hadn't even thought of that. I know I've given it away in the title, but bam, I was just blew my mind. I had not even thought about being more than enough. I was just going, and I was just with enough, right? But if I'm changing my thoughts, I might as well go all the way, because I can believe that I'm more than enough. I could find evidence for that. So then I did that same exercise over again with the same situations, and with this new thought manifest in those same situations. What would my result be? What are my feelings? So I want to take you through that as well, because I think it helps you see how powerful this model is, and super cool and interesting how your thoughts can really change your life. So here's the same circumstances all over again. So number one, with the food, I'm sitting down, I'm eating dinner. That's the circumstance. My thought about the dinner is that it's more than enough. Okay, so then I leave satisfied, just like I did in that situation, and maybe I even have some left on my plate. My action is to chew, appreciate it, and maybe leave some on my plate, right? And then the result is I just love me. I feel amazing. I'm proud of myself. I digest better, and I am able to release any excess weight because I'm satisfied on a consistent basis, right? So that's in food. And then in work, my circumstance was that I started a business. And if I feel like I have if I'm thinking I have more time, more than enough time, energy, and money, I feel empowered. And then I work smarter. I minimize the things that I'm doing, and I focus on the most important things. And because of that, my result is that I get more done out of less things. Right? So throughout this process too, because it's not an automatic thought for me, before I generated my feeling, I kind of looked at the thought, and I was looking for evidence as well. So like in starting a business, I have more than enough time, energy, and money. And I had to pause and think about, how is that true, and kind of give myself evidence for that so that I could feel that feeling, right? Because if you don't believe the thought, more than enough, then you're not going to feel the feeling. You're going to feel resistance instead, and that's not going to work in your model very well. So if you come up with a new thought and you put it in and like you're going to use it, but you keep rejecting it, then you should come up with a different thought. So if this more than enough, if you keep rejecting that really hard, then I would go back to the enough phase and try that thought instead. So that's just an aside. So for example, for the next one, a mom of 3, I'm more than enough as a mom, or I have more than enough time to spend with them. I thought, how is that true, right? And for me, I think in one past experience that helped me realize that was true is whenever I decided to just spend a couple minutes of snuggle time with them right when they woke up. And right before bed, I decided I was just going to spend a couple minutes and just and make it a ritual and dedicate some time to my kids. And I did that for several weeks. And when I did, it totally changed our relationship and how they felt throughout the day. They felt more loved from that 2 minutes, because it was a ritual. It was every day, and I could convey my love in a short amount of time. So I realized from that experience that it doesn't really matter the amount of time that I spend with my children doesn't matter. It's more about the quality of time and the feelings that we're sharing with each other, right? So I realized that I can be more than enough. That little bit of time that I have can be more than enough. So that helped me to feel confident. Whenever I feel confident, my action is to take more time for them and to have more quality time with them. So then my result is that I've spent some quality time with them. And whenever I do that, they usually go play by themselves for longer periods of time because they feel satisfied as well. So it's an awesome result. Okay, so then the last two models I want to share with you again are at church. And then I have that calling with the young women. I work with the young women, 13, 14 young women. And my thought is that I'm more than enough for this calling, or it's something of that nature, then I thought, why is that true? Because I really feel like we're all walking in grace, and that God's got our back, or the universe has got our back, right? I learned that from Byron Katie. She just said everyone is walking in grace all the time, and whatever I have to give them is just kind of like icing on the cake, because they're already taken care of. And the way that Byron Katie describes it is that we're all protected all the time. The only thing that's causing our pain is our thoughts about what's going on, which is kind of what we've seen here, right? I'm giving you a lot. I hope you were able to receive it. Sorry, this is like all of my thoughts combined. So she's saying, because our thoughts are the things that cause us pain, whenever we step out of our thoughts, just like I did in this situation, we can feel peace. So the reality is that we're safe. We're walking in grace all the time. We're totally fine. We just think that we're not fine. So I love that thought. And if I apply that to them, that I know that they're totally fine, that they're taken care of, they're protected, the earth is watching over them, God's watching over them, and it's just their thoughts that are creating their pain, then I can say whatever I have to offer them is just extra, right? I don't need to save them because they're already saved. If you believe in Jesus that he saved them, or like Byron Katie, she's not even religious, but she just believes that we're already saved and we have love, right? And they're already saved. So whatever I have to give them is just extra. And honestly, it's probably for me more than it is for them, right? So anyways, so that's how I'm more than enough. So I'm feeling, in that case, I'm starting to feel confident and in control. And then my action might be to plan it out and to do what I say I'm going to do, to make small actions and follow through on those. And in which case it's going to be enough, right? And then the last one is my body. I gained 2 pounds, and I started thinking about like, how is my body more than enough? Then I looked at what I wrote down, that I gained 2 pounds. And then I said, my thought is, it's more than enough for me. It just made me laugh so hard. So I was just really amused by that thought, honestly, because whenever I have 2 pounds, I've got more than enough. I've got more than enough energy to go forward with my life and do things. So it just made me laugh. That was my action. And then my result is just let it go and not worry about it. So super cool. Going from not enough to more than enough. There's a bazillion examples for you from my own personal life. So I hope you see that I have struggles as well, and that these things show up in my life as well. But isn't it really cool how positivity and how changing your thoughts can really change your world. So now, instead of being dissatisfied and grumbly and feeling so much lack in my life, I can step into abundance and feeling satisfied at dinner and having enough time for my business and feeling like I have enough time for my kids and that it's more than enough time for them. It's more than enough time for the people that I serve at church, and my body is more than enough. It's providing me resources that I can use for later. So I just wanted to encourage you, if you're struggling with this not enough thing, you can do that same exercise and see how it's manifest in your life and how it might be manifest if you start thinking of your life as more than enough. Or if there's another big barrier or thought that you're struggling with, some of them could be that you're stuck or you're just trapped, right? So you could go through and see how trapped is manifest in your life, or whatever it might be that you're struggling with. But yeah, I know you've got it and you're walking in grace. You're totally saved and fine right now. And the only thing that's causing you pain is your thoughts. So I'd love to hear what you have to say about this. So go ahead and head over to icutthemustard.com/17 and leave me a comment. Or if you're on my email list, just email me back. I'm such a good responder. I won't respond right away, but I will respond to your emails. So come on and hit me up there, and I will talk to you next week. Have a great week. Bye-bye. Yoo-hoo! Thanks for jamming with me. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and click subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you next time for another great episode of the I Cut the Mustard Show.